Hey guys, it's Alex again. Welcome back to my channel and to today's video. It's a very special one. So we're gonna talk about how it is to live here in Germany. It's gonna be a two-part video. On the one side, 10 things that I love about living here. On the other side, 10 things that I hate about living here. A very interesting topic in my opinion. But first, let me introduce myself. So my name is Alex. I'm 19 years old. I was born here in Germany in Bonn actually, and my family is from Ukraine. So I grew up with a lot of different influences. I had the Ukrainian culture, the German culture, and me in between. I grew up learning multiple languages, and I feel like generally I have a pretty unique perspective on life here in Germany. And yeah, as I said, it's a two-part video. Let's see which part you saw first. Let's go. And so we are out for a walk in my neighborhood park. And in this part, we're gonna talk about the 10 things that I hate about living in Germany. I mean, the first thing is a bit harmless and a bit ironic, but I really don't like the weather here. The climate is just not for me. I'm really a sun person, and it's ironic because the sun is coming out somewhere, but in general, I feel like the winters are not really wintry enough. Like, it gets pretty cold sometimes, but it's not really snowing. And the summers, actually the last summer was super hot. I was working in a cafe. It was unbearable. It was so hot. I couldn't like work properly. I was not a good time in my life. Shout out to my cafe. We did it, we survived it. But generally I feel like German weather, it's so unpredictable. It's like, and meh, like very often it's just cold, rainy, but it has been changed in the past years. So I'm just gonna throw it in this video just to mention I'm not the biggest fan of like North European weather, but I also feel like it has been changing the past years. So let's go on with the next point. So the second thing that I hate about living here in Germany are the social and even unwritten rules, let me say. So on the one side, of course, there's the law that we all have to obey, which I of course respect. On the other side, there are a lot of unwritten social expectations. For example, how a person has to behave in public. And I just feel like I just don't feel comfortable living here in Germany. I have been to 28 countries and counting. I'm gonna reach my 30 before I turn 20. I'm really excited about that. So I feel like I have a lot of different areas where I can compare countries. And this is one thing where, like in Spain, nobody cares what you're doing at the beach. Like you can just live there, have fun, shoot your videos, take the pictures. In Germany, I often feel very watched. Like if you know the book 1984, Big Brother is always watching you. It's a little bit like that here. And on the one side, I understand the rules, laws, whatever. On the other side, it's also about the way that you communicate them. So you can approach me nicely and ask me not to film, for example, or whatever. There's countless examples, but I feel like the Germans do it very like pointing fingers. You're doing something wrong, you're a bad citizen, you shouldn't do that. And I definitely feel like this is one thing that makes me feel not so happy here, and one thing where I'm actually considering to leave this country, because I just know that it's not like that in different countries. And yeah, it's a hard conversation to have. Just a very quick point to make some people maybe think about it. Obviously, my intention with these videos is to, on the one side, share the 10 things that I love, on the other side, share the 10 things that I hate. And maybe a person who's living here has a new insight, or a person who wants to come here has a new insight. So don't take it too close to your heart. I'm just sharing my personal opinion. And now I feel like I'm really craving a coffee. Let's go look for one. So the third thing that I hate are the public transportation strikes. On the one side, obviously, I'm really grateful for the public transportation here. It's pretty cool how we can get anywhere almost without a car. And generally the system is just pretty cool. In Europe, there are definitely countries where it's way worse, where you have to take buses for multiple hours, you know, to get from A to B. So I cannot complain too much about the public transportation itself. Like we're often late and delayed and cancelled, but overall it's okay. But in the past times, we had a lot of strikes. And they usually come out of the blue, especially for me. I'm not really informed in that topic. But for example, when it's one day, you can manage. But the last week we had a 3 to 4 day strike, and you just couldn't get anywhere. Like, I understand why it's important, and the people are fighting for higher salaries, and I understand. But what is going on in Germany? It cannot happen like so frequently. So, like, great that we have the public transportation. Would be cool if it would be a little bit more reliable. Like I personally, I just gave up like trusting the times and even trusting the public transportation itself. If I have a very important meeting, I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna take a bike, or I'm gonna take my car. But also car in the city, you know, traffic, parking, blah blah blah. So I'm just gonna probably take my bike because it's just safer, you know. A bus might not show up, a train might come 20 minutes late. I just don't like it, but I cannot complain too much about it. So guys, I found my coffee, enjoying it here in a peaceful courtyard right now. Really love the birds chirping. Maybe spring is coming after all to Germany. But yeah, let's talk about the fourth thing that I hate about living here, and it's the never-ending bureaucracy. So let me be clear. I understand that there's a lot of paperwork that needs to be done when you apply for a new job, for a new apartment. For example, also me, I applied for a citizenship. I understand the documents are needed. The thing that I don't like about it is the management. So the institutions, the offices, they're super messy. If it's for the driver's license, for the citizenship, anything, it's really hard to get an appointment. The system is overloaded and understaffed. I mean, Germany knows it themselves. It's a known problem. And yeah, just generally, I don't understand why they don't digitalize things. I understand that you need money and time. But overall, like I've moved out of my parents' apartment in August of 2024. So it's been like 6, 7 months, whatever. And I have this thick of a folder with paperwork that I just got via mail to my address. And it's just insane. Like, guys, I've moved out not long ago and I already have such a big stack of stuff. Why can't you send me an email, you know? And generally, also with my citizenship, I applied first when I was 16. Like, bear in mind, I was born here, but I just didn't get it right away. So I applied first time when I was 16, didn't get an answer whatsoever. No, yes, we received it. Yes, we were looking through it. I didn't get any answer. And then I started coming to the immigration office, like, yo, guys, can you tell me how is it looking? They would always send me home and tell me not to check in anymore. I'm just delaying the process and making it more complicated. So eventually I got a lawyer, paid a good bunch of money, but then suddenly everything worked super fast and I got the citizenship not too long after. And yeah, just generally in comparison to example for Ukraine, I know a lot of my family members have an app called Dia, where they have most of their ID things, their documents online. So the insurance, the ID, the passport, whatever it may be, they have everything in a handy little app. So Ukraine is definitely one step further in digitalization than Germany is. So yeah, this is definitely a thing that gives me a headache. Like whenever I'm changing jobs, my insurance is always asking like, what are you doing? You have to update them. And I cannot really update them online anymore. They just don't see my messages. So I have to come into office. Like anything I want to do these days, I have to wait in queue, I have to wait in line, I have to go to the office. It's just very, very time consuming. And for a person like me, I work 30 hours a week. I try to shoot videos for you guys. I edit them after hours. I go to the gym. Like, I don't have the energy and time and mood to sit in the office and wait for my documents to be done. So I don't have a lot of other countries I can compare this to, but I can just say that it's not really efficient here. And I mean, Germany knows itself that they could improve this aspect, but yeah. And I've actually just paid my coffee in cash, and it's the next thing that I don't like about Germany. I think it's the fifth thing, if I'm not mistaken. Basically, cash is king here compared to so many other countries, like for example, the Netherlands. Almost everything is cashless. Everybody can accept a card. They even want you to pay with card. And Germany, in that sense, is still a little bit behind. Or, I mean, it's personal if you like it or don't like it. It's just a fact that many spots don't accept card whatsoever. They only take cash. And yeah, I mean, I don't hate it with my gut, but sometimes when I'm really in need to buy something, it would be cool to pay with card and to have the option to pay with card or like PayPal or whatever. So yeah, in Germany we say nur bares ist wahres, which means so much as just real cash is real. I don't know how to translate it, but yeah, cash is king here. Guys, I am slowly starting to really freeze, but the view is getting better. And yeah, let's come to the sixth thing that I hate about Germany. It's a bit complicated, but it's the politics. So 2-3 weeks ago was the first time that I could elect here in Germany. It was the 23rd of February, if I'm not mistaken. It was like a snap election, and basically complicated to explain. I had to watch a lot of videos about politics in Germany and the tutorials, how to vote, what's the first vote, what's the second vote. Obviously for me, as a new citizen, it was interesting to explore the topic. But generally, I feel like politics are just a mess, like finding a coalition that works, finding a parliament that's effective. It's just everybody wants to go in a different direction, and it makes me feel a bit lost also, like who should I vote for? And also there were like the smart voters, like who do I vote for in order to get this and this result? Guys, I was overwhelmed, and I'm not saying that it's like the worst thing ever and other countries everybody is better or anything. Every country has their own issues, their own stance in also the European context, but let me say it's complicated and I don't like it, and that's all I have to say in terms of politics here in Germany. So the seventh thing about living in Germany is a bit uncommon, but it's the formality of the language. So in German we have two forms of you, one formal, Sie, and one informal, du. So there's duzen and siezen, like you dudes your friends. Oh my god, this Denglish here, German and English mix, is really bad. But anyways, I'm trying to explain. So in English you can address anybody with you. Your boss is how are you doing, your best friend is how are you doing. In German you have a difference, like when you address your boss you should say how yeah, now I'm speaking English, but wie geht es Ihnen, or was denken Sie, you know, what do you think? With your best friend, yeah, was denkst du? It's a bit more chill, I'd say. So it's not a huge thing that I hate, but I just really love the casualty of the English language. Everybody is you, everybody is your friend, kinda. It's very friendly. And in German it's also a bit awkward, like the stage when you used to use the formal you, the Sie, and then you're like, is it time? Can we switch to du? Can we switch to the informal you? And I mean, it's pretty much the same in Ukrainian or Russian and many other languages that I know. It's very common to have two forms of you. And it's not a crazy thing that I hate. I just thought it's worth mentioning because I feel like it also creates a certain distance between the German people, because you're either friendly or a bit less friendly, a bit more formal, you know? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here, but I would love to just use one form of you, and yeah, this is one small thing that I dislike here. So our walk is pretty long. We're currently walking around the government building, the parliament building here, and we have a TV tower there. Super beautiful, really cold, but I'm really enjoying my walk and getting my steps in. Anyways, different topic. The eighth thing that I hate about living in Germany is the price of the driver's license, actually. It's a bit random, and I know it's different in every country. For me, I spent around 2,000 euros fully out of my own pocket. I did it myself, saved up money, paid for it, no help for the parents or anything. I know lots of people who spend way more, like 4, 5, 6,000. Obviously, it's a bit of personal responsibility. You know, if you fail once, you have to redo it. If you miss your appointment, but I feel like it's a bit hard to get the appointments in the first place. So here again, we're in the point of bureaucracy. It's a bit hard to manage overall. And yeah, I just feel like it's crazy to spend so much money on a document. On the one side, of course, we have the Autobahn, the highway without the speed limit, so you should be able to drive pretty comfortably and pretty confidently. But do you really have to spend so much money to acquire a driver's license? I don't know, I'm just thinking, you know, I've started working when I was like 14, and seriously started working when I was like 16. There was a time in my life where I almost worked a full-time job next to school. And it's just hard-earned and saved money, just paid for a driver's license, is a bit painful. Like imagining I could have this money in my pocket right now to go travel the world would be really cool. So that's just one thing I like to throw into the room. Driver's license in Germany, expensive. I mean, also some other European countries. I don't know how it's generally all over the world, but I feel like things like that are pretty expensive here. So we're currently walking along the Rhine. Really beautiful landscape right now. Really enjoy the clouds and the sun looks so dramatic. Anyways, the ninth thing that I hate about living in Germany is the rudeness and customer service. So it's a bit random, but I used to work a lot in customer service. I still do, kind of. I worked at the restaurants, at cafes, at retail, and I feel like just in comparison to other countries, we as service people can get pretty rude and just like neutral, like not caring. I feel like in the US it's like overly friendly, to be fair. I'm not also the biggest fan of that. Just like a solid middle ground would be good, but generally I feel like often not mistreated, certainly. I mean, it also has to do a lot with your ego. Okay. It also has to do a lot with your ego, you know, what you expect, how people should treat you, how how you treat others. But I feel like very often as a customer in Germany, you don't get treated like the king, which is not necessarily bad, but sometimes I would just wish for a little bit more kindness. And as I said, I've worked a lot in many different fields, and I always try to be really, really kind. And whenever somebody is not really kind to me, I always try to say maybe they had a tough day, maybe something bad happened, and they just don't have energy to give me any more than that. So I try to always be understanding and always try to leave a good tip. Either way, especially if the food or the drink was still good. But overall, I've had way better experiences in almost any other country. And I also just thought about it, not even the service in person can be a bit rude, especially the service over phone. Like when I have an issue with my bank, sometimes I've been treated not amazing. I'm freezing, but you get the point. I'm gonna stop talking now because I need to get to a warmer place. So guys, we've made it to my destination. The TV tower and the Medienhafen in the back. My phone is at 1%, so I have to be fast. The 10th thing I hate about living in Germany are not the people, but the people's mindset. So I feel like I've reached my limit here. I feel like I'm in the closet a little bit, like I'm stuffed in a box. People are just not dreaming. People are not I don't know, this is a really hard thing to say because of course I have lots of German people who I love. I mean, I have a little bit of a identity crisis myself, like am I German, am I Ukrainian, what am I? Like the issue when you have immigrant parents and you grew up with a lot of different influences, like I don't feel fully German, I don't feel Ukrainian either, so I'm just Alex and I'm trying to navigate into my 20s, But yeah, I feel like other European nations are so warm. Like in Italy, whenever we visit my boyfriend's family, I feel so at home. It's just so heartwarming and welcoming. And here I often feel judged, I often feel laughed at, like also now walking around. But at the same time, I know so many beautiful people here. I've made so many friends, and I feel like I'm also making new friends through this project. I have so many people reaching out to me like, hey, I respect what you're doing. So I see a lot of great Germans, don't get me wrong. I don't hate all the Germans, and like, it's not about the people specifically, it's about the overall mindset, the overall feeling. I feel like it's very pessimistic. Maybe it has something to do with the country's history. Like I feel like Germans cannot really feel proud to be German. You understand, Germany is a very complex country, and also with the politics right now, like I understand when you feel a bit grumpy and like, yeah, but I just don't feel welcomed here all the time. I would really like to live in a place where I feel valued and loved, but maybe I will find it here someday. So I don't want to end this video at such a negative thought. Overall, these were the 10 things that I hate about living here. I know hate is a strong word, but yeah, maybe think about what I said. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree. Please remember to be kind. It's just my personal opinion. If you want to know something a bit more positive about Germany, check out my 10 things I love about living here video. And yeah, I'm super grateful that my phone hasn't died. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and see you again in the next one.